Good afternoon from New Haven, Connecticut, everybody. Thank you so much for making time for us. My name is Camino de Paz. I am the Assistant Dean of Global Network Programs at Yale School of Management, and we're here today to talk about the MAM, the Master of Advanced Management, which is a post-MBA degree. And I'm here with three very special guests who are our students. They are all doing the Master of Advanced Management. Thank you. I know you're very busy, so thank you for being here with me today. And we're going to be talking about your experience. So on the other side, we have potential candidates to the MAM that might be considering the program. And I'm sure they're asking themselves many, many questions as they decide whether this is the right program for you. So before I start asking questions, I'd like for each of you to introduce yourself. Let us know your name. Where do you do your MBA at? What is your hometown? What were you doing in terms of work prior to the MBA? And what's your favorite things about Yale? Like what are activities that you're involved in, clubs, conferences, anything that you want to share? So Ryan, I'm going to start with you.
Sure. My name is Ryan Brett. I'm from Princeton, New Jersey. I did my MBA at HEC in Paris. Prior to business school, I worked for Bank of America Merrill Lynch and Signified, which is an e-commerce startup. And something I'm involved in at Yale that I really enjoyed has been SciCity.
Cool. What is SciCity?
Sure. It's like an incubator program on campus for all of Yale. And I did a program there on investing in innovation, which is about the VC space.
Cool. Monica.
Yeah, hi everybody. My name is Monica Chen Xi. I come from Yunnan province of China. I did my MBA program in EGADA Business School of TEC de Monterrey campus, Mexico City. Prior to my MAM and MBA also, I worked like 4 or 5 years in Latin America, mainly in Mexico and also other Latin American countries. I was the marketing director in Huawei, and later I started my own business in trading and also consulting there. Well, one thing I liked most about Yale MAM specifically is the flexibility that I can take a lot of other courses in all the campus, which make me feel more integrated in the school.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Tolu.
Thank you. My name is Tolu Lokwe Agbinyode. I did my MBA at Lagos Business School, and I'm also from Lagos, Nigeria. Prior to my MBA, I spent a couple of years in consulting before moving into the fintech industry to work in strategy. My favorite thing about Yale, I think Monica said what I was going to say. So I would say what I'm involved in at Yale, I'm very connected to the Africa Business Club because I think it's very important to tell the African story while at Yale and making sure we present Africa in the best light possible.
Thank you so much. Tolu, I'm going to stick to you. So why did you decide to do the MAM? Like an MBA is a graduate degree. People do the program, then go back to the workforce. Why pursuing an additional year of graduate studies and do the Master of Advanced Management? What was your reasoning? Why did you pursue this opportunity?
Thank you. So mine was two things. First, my MBA was a part-time one, so it meant I could work while doing it. But also that meant that my MBA from my business school was also a generalist MBA. And for me, I wanted to specialize in operations, finance and people management, something that got me on track to a COO position. And I thought the MAM would be sort of that added benefit for me. And the second reason being, I wanted to also see if I could pivot my career into the North American market from Africa. And this is like a good step in to do that.
Perfect. Thank you. Monica, you were mentioning the flexibility of the curriculum, the opportunity to take classes in different disciplines. And I know we got many questions about that. So first of all, how does that work? Like, how do you choose?
Yeah.
What are the options here at SOM, at the other professional schools, your college? How do you manage the selection or the deciding process of what are you going to study? And then how do you actually apply and get into those classes?
Yeah, of course. So basically the rule is like each semester you need to complete 20 credits, within which in the first semester there are 4 credits that they are mandatory courses from SOM. That means within all the 40 credits there are 4 mandatory. It's like 10%, and the rest 90% you can personalize them. And for me, because my career was focused on marketing, which is to say more communication and even psychology, sociology, or art oriented. So you can choose firstly from SOM courses and also search on Yale course search the courses that you want to take. Make sure that they don't overlap with your SOM courses. And then you just write an email to the professor saying that I'm really interested in the courses, asking for the permission. If it's okay, you just send the email to the registrar and then you can personalize your schedule.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And what kind of courses are you taking right now? How much is SOM? How much is not SOM?
Yeah, sure.
Or the previous semester? Not in this semester or the previous semester?
Yes. Basically, like 70% from SOM and 30% from other schools. From other schools, right now I'm taking one course very famous of Yale, which is Psychology and Good Life. And also I'm taking my French classes from Yale College. And also I'm auditing a course relating to Chinese film. Yeah.
Thank you. Ryan, our mission statement is to educate leaders for business and society. This is something that's really important to us. We're a mission-driven school. How do you experience this mission in the school? Like, is it present in the classes, in the curriculum, in the extracurricular activities, in the events, in the community? How do the students kind of embrace this mission?
Yeah, I found that mission permeates all of life at SOM, whether it's the professors who they bring in to teach the courses, the students that they accept to the school. Everyone kind of comes here with that mission in mind, and I've found that it really rings true in all my conversations that I've had, that people are here to not only educate themselves and get a great job, but they're here to better position themselves to truly make a difference in whatever line of work that they choose.
Perfect. Tolu, from Lagos to New Haven, big change. So how do you do that? How do you, move across the world, get settled in New Haven, find an apartment, and start this very demanding course? So how was it for you? How do you handle everything? What help do you get? And what challenges you faced?
Thank you. I think it's very interesting for me to answer this question because I'm very used to moving around. I travel a lot, so I'm used to operating my life on short notice. But I would say it's a different ballgame when you have to stay in hotels or Airbnbs. You have to, in this instance, you have to find an apartment in a new country from your country of residence. It was kind of a very daunting process for me initially, given that I got in round 2, and what that meant was the grad housing was already gone. Most of it was gone by the time I got in, and I had to then start looking at apartments, and I had to take into consideration places close to SOM, to the School of Management, because of winter, so I could walk easily during winter, right? And it was kind of difficult getting it, but thankfully, the admissions ambassadors, right? There was a Nigerian who was connected to someone else who reached out to me, and he was like, "Oh, I hear you're coming to Hill. How's apartment hunting going?" And he sort of linked me up with options. And there is also, usually when you get into Yale, there is also the past MBA students do a great job of creating resources for incoming students, right? There's usually an Excel sheet or a Facebook group or a Slack group that details accommodation available in New Haven, and people looking for housemates or people looking to pass their list on to incoming students, right? They sort of make that process seamless. So within that ecosystem, you can sort of find an apartment. And if you don't find within that apartment, once you arrive in New Haven, you can talk to realtors and you can sort of get started as well. A bunch of my classmates also use Facebook Marketplace. They found it really helpful in getting apartments.
Thank you. Monica, we pride ourselves to be one SOM, right? And you have 2 required courses for the MAM. All the rest is, as we were talking about, flexible. How do you interact with other students at SOM? With the MBAs, for example, I'm sure you're taking a lot of classes with them, with the GBS, and maybe with students from other degree programs at other professional schools. Like, how is that dynamic with other degree students, but also how do you build community within the MAM cohort?
Yes. So first of all, of course, we can communicate and interact within the classes. And then there are a lot of clubs in Yale SOM in which I frequently go to the Yale Venture Club. and they hold some activities and initiatives with the entrepreneur student here at SOM from different programs, obviously, and also Thai City. So from there, I can connect to people from different programs, different industries, and from our cohort, because our cohort is relatively small in SOM compared to MBA. And we hold a lot of activities. Like today, we are going to have a soirée, a night out tonight to build our community. Yeah.
Nice. Ryan, we got a lot of questions about recruitment, the Career Development Office, this very much needed networking concept in the United States,
Yep.
access to alumni network. Can you talk a little bit about all that process and how it works? And is it you driving the process, or is everything served?
Sure. Yeah, so starting with the Career Development Office, I found them incredibly helpful that I set up a conversation with them as soon as I had the opportunity to do so before
Which
it
is
started.
July 1st.
Right.
Can you talk about
Right.
that?
So in July, I remember having a call with Nakia and went over some items on my resume and some things like that, and she offered some great advice. And I even met with Mike and some other members of the team. And they've been great resources as a sounding board of people to bounce ideas off of, like, hey, I'm trying to think about contacting this person or that person or doing it this way. And they've been able to offer great advice. So I couldn't say anything better about the career development team here. And then in terms of recruiting, for me, it's been a lot of like emails to people, which is a lot of cold emails to people. So you have to get thick skin and be able to send those out and be okay if people don't respond. But I found that, thankfully, that the people who are alum from SOM or even the broader Yale community have been good about responding to emails and taking 15, 20 minutes of their time just to chat with me. So I found that the quality of the Yale network really is there, and it's really been helpful for me as I explore my post-business school career.
Thank you. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so
please.
I would like to add to that. I think the career development team, they've been quite helpful in helping me transition into this market, especially with recruiting. I've had just even beyond advice on how to approach recruiting. There's also the help they provide around behavioral mock interviews that prepares you for your interviews when you do get that, helping you craft your story and making sure that you're communicating in a concise and clear manner as well. And I think it's something you need to leverage as soon as you get into Yale. From redrafting your resume to sort of knowing how to reach out to people, and also when you do reach out, when they come back to you, how to speak to them so that you convert those emails.
Thank you so much. We got a question here about scholarships, so I'm going to take that one. I know that it's in a lot of people's mind, this is a very expensive program. The tuition is very high, but what I want to say is we work with you. So there are different ways to finance the program. The first one is the scholarships. Everybody asks about that, and yes, we do have merit scholarship and need our scholarship. So for the merit scholarships, you just apply to the program, and then we assess you with the pool of candidates that are in your round. And then when you receive your admission decision, if you've been awarded any merit scholarship, that will be on your letter of acceptance. So we usually go from zero, nothing merit deserving, to half tuition is probably the maximum that we go for merit. We don't give full rights just for merit. Then once you receive your acceptance and your merit award, if you still have a gap, you can apply for need-based scholarship. And then you have to submit all your financials, paperwork. All this goes to our financial aid office, and they come back with a final award that includes merit plus need, and that's your final award. We also have agreements with 2 international loan providers, so those are also sources of funding for our students. And then we also have job opportunities on campus. That might not help you a lot with the tuition, but definitely with the living expenses. Have any of you done any teaching assistant roles or any work at SOM so far, or know of students who have done it?
Yes, I do know about classmates who are teaching assistants or work at Sci-City as well.
Okay. None of you either?
I'm applying for the GNW for this
Oh,
time.
for being a GNM ambassador for Global Network Week.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the result.
Cool.
There are also a variety of behavioral studies that go on that you can
Yes.
sign up
Oh,
for.
that's
Granted, that's not really going to help with your living expenses, but put some money in your pocket for coffee or an old bagel or something
Or
like
lunch.
Yeah, so those are research surveys from our faculty, and
Right.
so you come to the behavioral lab, answer a survey, and then you get a little bit of pocket money.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, great. So yeah, I want to address that question because it comes up often, as it should, because it's
Yeah.
it is a big decision. But please, like, if you're interested in the program, apply, and then we'll try to figure out how to make it work for you. Okay. So we got a question from an executive MBA. So you did your program part-time, Tolu. So they're asking, can I apply to the MAM? The answer is yes. So we do have in the program full-time MBA students, but we also have part-time or executive MBA students. Actually, I think most of you coming from Africa do the program part-time, right? That's most common in Africa, and I think Latin America as well. Do you do it part-time or full-time?
Yes, part-time.
So what is the percentage? Do you know? It's mostly full-times and only handful of you who have done it part-time. It's 50-50, do you know?
So this is a tricky question for me because technically I'm the only African from Africa, from an African MBA program.
MBA program, okay.
Yeah. Okay, no, and Jared. So Jared was a full-time MBA student in South Africa, actually.
In your
Yeah.
city, okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we accept both as long as the curriculum of the MBA is pretty much the same as the full-time MBA, because sometimes the MBA is like lighter, and so if you meet the credits for the MBA, we don't care if you did it full-time or part-time. Okay. We have any of you have chosen the STEM? Okay. Oh, you're busy. Okay, so we have a question about, is the program STEM designated? The answer is yes, it is STEM. And then what does that mean? Like, what do you have to do to be a STEM mayor?
Okay, so the program is STEM designated, but you do have to opt in for a STEM degree. And what that means is very heavy cost load in certain instances, and sometimes, full disclosure, I'm not great with quant stuff, so I kind of set myself up with this. But also another thing was I did want to challenge myself and learn things around the software side of things, from product management to software development, and also a bit build my skills in statistics as well. And that's what the STEM program has really done for me. And I've had to take very interesting courses. Like, I can have a conversation with a product manager now, working through like a product development life cycle, and also speak with software engineers, because I also did the management of software development program and course rather. And I think that was what I wanted to achieve with the set of courses I chose, build a new skill set and sort of have those conversations and not be lost in those conversations. So depending on what you want to do, there are quant-leaning ones and there are maybe technology-leaning ones. Just depends on your preference and how you want to sort of build your curriculum.
Perfect. So yeah, basically you have to...
Oh, the credits.
Yes.
So it's 16 credits. You can split it however you want between the fall and spring semester. I did mine half and half, and I think that was helpful in balancing the workload, because if you're new to STEM, it can be intensive, so just pace yourself.
Exactly. And this would only be advisable for people that want to apply for OPT, optional practical training, which everybody who graduates in the United States have a 1 year of optional practical training, meaning that they can stay and work for a year. If you find a job, small detail, so it's not guaranteed. And then if you are pursuing the STEM major, that after that first year, you can apply for an extension up to 3 years. But you need a job, that job need to be in STEM, and then you have to go through those 16 very hard courses. Nothing prevents you from taking as many STEM courses as you want without declaring the major. So let me also be clear, you can take as many as the classes that Tolu is taking without having the SN designation. Okay. Okay, let me see another question that we might have here. Okay, Ryan, key admission criteria. What do you think are important things that we're looking at in the admission process, and what do you think made you stand out in the applicant pool?
Yeah, I think the most important thing is having a clear reason as to why you want to come here. And it doesn't necessarily have to follow that to a T once you're here, but you should at least have a real reason as to, like, I have an MBA, or I'm getting my MBA now, I want to get the MAM for reasons X, Y, and Z. So you'd be able to communicate those clearly and succinctly. So I think that's the most important thing. And then I would say another important reason for me, I think in my application, was just honestly just being myself and speaking about my own experiences. And I wrote about a lot of things I did outside of work. In my application, I found a lot of people are just so focused on their career achievements that they leave out all these amazing things they do in their personal lives. And I took the opportunity in my application to showcase those things. And I think that was really important in my own application. So I would say for anyone who's interested, don't shy away from anything you do outside the office, because you and the team all want to hear it. So definitely write about it.
Thank you. We have a question about clubs. So how do you find out about what clubs are available, professional, social clubs, and how do you find out about them? How you sign up for them? Are you part of any clubs at SOM? Anybody in particular? I don't know who's involved with this.
So there's there's a club fair where all the clubs basically pitch a tent and somewhere in the garden at SOM, and they essentially tell you what the club is about, and you can sort of get a whiff of, is this something I'll be interested in or not. And also before you come and before the club fair, there's a list on the Yale SOM websites where you can sort of read through each of the clubs, what they do, and if this is of interest to you. And maybe the club fair helps you filter out and say, in real life, maybe this works for me based off my shortlist that I already have, and helps you decide. I am involved in the Africa Business Club, and we're having a club event next week. Guys, please come for it.
Yeah,
it's the Africa experience. It's going to be fun. We want to tell people more about Africa, the different countries, experience it through 5 senses. That's the goal. So yeah.
Yeah, and internally we also use Slack and Yale Connect. There are 2 platforms on which you can see all the information of the ongoing activities that you can assist. Yeah.
I have a funny story from the club fair. I remember, strolling around looking at the different options, and the hockey club was there. I can't skate to save my life, but they have really cool jerseys for the hockey team. So I asked, can a non-player get the jersey? And they're like, yeah, sure. So I ended up getting a cool Yale SOM Hockey Club jersey. I haven't worn it yet, but I'm excited to break it out.
Then you have to go to the rink.
Yeah, that's true.
At least once.
A big event I know, I just actually learned recently, is that they'll have non-players go to practice and wear the jersey if they have one, and cheer on the players as they practice. And I think it's a fun SOM event.
There's many ways to be part of the club. You don't have
exactly.
to be actually skating.
Spectator.
So speaking of Yale events, so the big ones that I can think of are the Yale Harvard American football game, Friendsgiving dinner. What are things that have been impactful to you, meaningful to you? Those 2 I know are big ones at SOM, but what events or conference or anything that has been really good and memorable for you and your time at SOM?
I would say for anyone who comes, you have to go to the Yale Harvard football game, non-negotiable. Clear your schedule and go, because it's such an amazing experience and something you'll only have here, and we're only here for the 1 year, so you want to do everything you can, and you don't want to miss that because it's truly memorable. And to your point about Friendsgiving, I had an amazing experience at that as well. The whole school, there's tables everywhere, there's Thanksgiving food. I actually sat with Tolu during that, and we had a great chat. So yeah, those 2 are definitely whatever is going on in your life, make sure you can go to those, because it's something you don't want to miss.
Anything else?
Yeah, so I would like to add to that as well and say all the other cultural events. SOM does a good job at spotlighting the other cultures, right? And it's also a very good way for you to learn because people come with their full expression of their home countries, and it's a good way to learn more about other people just beyond how you see them in classes. And I think that's something you should always go for.
Perfect. What else do we have here?
Oh, actually, I got another one.
Go for it.
One I signed up for is actually through outside of SOM, but through Yale University. And it was called a Secret Film Society,
Oh, yeah.
in which
Ooh.
they'll air movies before they come out. And
That's
when
cool.
you sign up, you don't know what they're going to show. So I went in the fall, and it was really, really fun. I saw Amelia Perez, which is now up for a bunch of Oscars. I actually tried to sign up for the next one this morning at 10 a.m., and I was there on the dot, and still it sold out that quickly. So it's a really cool event, and it's very intimate theater as well, so it's kind of a throwback. So that's something else that, if you're here, you should definitely try and find your way to.
Also want to add, still on track with like film and stuff. The theater group within Yale, they're very amazing. There are two, the Yale
Repertory.
Yes, theater. I've seen a couple of their shows and they're really good. And tomorrow I'm going to see Eden as well, one of the new shows. And I think it's something you should always experience. Also because you might be seeing a star just before they become stars. Lupita Nyong'o came out of Yale, so you don't know.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, and one interesting thing is that during the midterm and the finals period, there are a lot of meditation activities in school that you can go to meditate, do some art therapy, yeah, so for your mental health. Yeah.
Good, which is very important.
Yeah.
True.
Take care of yourself during a very intense year. So if
Yeah.
you don't take care of yourself, if you're not well, you won't be able to make the most out of this
Yeah.
program. You
Yeah.
gotta pace yourself and make sure that you find time for yourself.
Yeah, definitely.
True.
Also to add, maybe not a Yale specific, not in Yale, but there are certain breaks we have, like spring break, winter break, fall break. A bunch of people typically go on trips. If traveling is your thing, it would be fun to travel with some of your classmates and sort of build relationships also beyond Yale and interact with people you might not have interacted with ordinarily at SOM as well.
And we have trips that we organize from here for you,
Oh yes, that's true.
Global Network Weeks.
Yeah.
So you can go for fun with your friends, or you can actually take advantage of a Global Network Week, which we host for this program in October and March. And can anybody talk about what that is? I don't know if any of you have gone on one, but I'm sure you know of somebody who has gone on one.
So I didn't go on one, but I'm going for one in March. I'm going to Costa Rica in March in
Cool.
Care.
So can you tell a little bit about what a Global Network Week is?
So Global Network Week is, there are partner schools within the GNAM network, and for a week you get to choose a partner school where you can go to and learn something very interesting for a week. There's usually a focus topic for that week. And I was supposed to go to Fudan in October, but that fell through because and the topic for Fudan was going to be entrepreneurship in China. And I thought that was a very interesting topic to sort of hone in on, particularly from the source. For Costa Rica, I would be learning about sustainable development for a week in March.
And students from all the GNAM schools will be there. So it's not only the topic that you're going to be learning, it's also the experience that you're going to get about, you know, what the experience is like at all of those other schools. So we keep talking about networking, how important it is. So you expand your network beyond SOM with all those students. So thank you. And the school helps you a little bit financially.
Oh
with
yes,
the cost.
the school funds half of your cost as well for the trip.
So that helps.
And if you are smart with your budget, it might be the full fund of the trip. Depends on you.
Okay, so we have a question that it's important, Monica. So somebody's asking about the first week, right? You come here, you got orientation, you just get settled into New Haven, you have to register for your classes. Like how, if you could go back and say, okay, this is the way I would have dealt with this first week that was overwhelming. What would you suggest that they do? What is the main thing that they should be focusing on? Like, are the classes all fixed by the time you get here? How do you handle that? Then how do you, how was that first week? And how would you change or not how you handle it?
Yeah, of course. So actually there is a orientation period from the very start, and it lasts like 2 weeks which will help you to get adapted to all the environment or the classes, etc. I think that helped a lot. And I got really close to my friends there. And the real first week from the semester, yeah, I got kind of like, lost, because there are a lot of things happening at the same time. I think the most important thing is to figure out what you really want to focus on, because the course pool is really large. You can choose like as many classes as you want of all the industries, all the aspects, but you have to choose wisely what's your focus. And then you have a period to add and drop your courses at that time. That helps a lot too. What else? So in life-wise, just try to explore as many restaurants, good food, as many as possible. Yeah.
Perfect. I want to, put the emphasis on something you said. It's amazing that the program is so flexible, that you only have 2 required courses and the rest is really up to you, unless you go for STEM and then you got those 16 units. It's still some choice of classes, but within STEM. But that comes with a huge responsibility, because you can't come to New Haven in mid-August and say, okay, what classes am I going to take? That work has to be done prior. Actually, you have to sit down with yourself and say, okay, where are my gaps? What gaps am I trying to fill? What I've done in my MBA, and then how do I want to leverage the classes that I'm going to take at SOM for the next stage of my career? So that is work that you have to do prior to probably even applying to the MAM, if you ask me, to figure it out how this is going to fit in whatever you want to do next. So that's something that I just want to highlight, that it's important. And it can be very overwhelming arriving here and then deciding everything, and you're probably not going to get it right. The worst thing that can happen is that this is a very intense program. We haven't spoken, but I'm going to ask now about like the workload and the difficulty of classes. But it's 9 months. So the worst thing that can happen is that those 9 months go by, and then you look back and say, wait a minute, I shouldn't have taken that class. I shouldn't have joined that course, club. I should have done these other things. So you gotta carefully, it's a huge menu, but you have to carefully craft it for yourself. And also you 3 are graduating with an MAM. I bet that those 2 required courses overlap in the 3 degrees, but not many more. Probably you are taking all very different classes. So as great as it is, it comes with a huge responsibility to get it right, right? Let's talk a little bit about the difficulty of the courses. Of course, the STEM is hard because it's all the quant and stuff. But how this is a question we get all the time. Like, how do courses compare to your previous experiences at other institutions? Like, we know that getting in is difficult, but how difficult it is to actually perform?
Yeah, I can take that. I know you think that, okay, now I'm in TL, I can relax. It's like once you get in, like the hard work really starts. So it also depends on how you set up your schedule. Like I wanted to take some classes that were more quantitative, but I also wanted to take some more leadership style courses or courses that cover topics that I'm interested in. But I've actually found even with a leadership course where you think it might be a lighter load, it's actually arguably even harder because it really requires you to sit down and reflect and look at your own self. So just be prepared when you come just to bust your hump, because it's a lot of work. But at the other end, it's incredibly rewarding when you finish a class and you look back and think about all the things you improved on and how you grew in just a short amount of time.
Yeah, also just to add to that, I think it depends on how much you want to challenge yourself, the level of difficulty, and how much you want to challenge yourself. Like there's a correlation in that, because for me, management of software development, for instance, it has elements of coding. I've never seen a line of code in my life before you, and I had to figure that out in class. And I think if you want to pick up new skills, it would be great to challenge yourself, maximize the value of your degree program, because you might not get that level of exposure again to do it next time. And also, depending on where you want to go in your career and kind of conversations you want to be able to have, you also need to take courses that help you build that background and that pedigree as well.
Yes, I want to add that the flexibility of this program doesn't only reflect on the course selection, but also the level of commitment you want to put in all the courses. Yeah. If you really want to focus on this course, just take it, register for it, and do your best for it. And if you just want to know a little bit about a certain industry, you can audit it. You ask for the audit permission, and try to balance yourself, because it's not possible for anybody to performance 100% all the time. So you need to balance yourself well.
Yeah.
Because is it a fixed amount of credits that you have to take every semester, or can you play with those and kind of take a lower load of credits in the first semester to kind of explore and then get more credits in the second? How does that work, or is it fixed?
So
I don't know myself, so it's also interesting.
For
me.
international students, there's a minimum number of credits you need to take every semester to maintain your visa.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
Okay.
but yes, I think it's 20 units. If I'm
it's
20 units, right? But outside of those 20 units, you can sort of pace yourself. Some people end up taking up to 30 units in course load.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot, and it's a
Yeah,
very packed
that's
calendar. For me, I take I usually over around 21 to 24, depending on what semester it is.
Yes,
Okay.
actually 20 is more than the residential MBA program requirement. They require 16 per semester, and for us 20 per semester. And generally we take like within 20 to 26.
Yeah.
And courses are either 4 credits and they're full semester long, or they're 2 credits and they're half semester long. So I've seen some people who will maybe like front load or back load their schedule with more those 2 credit courses, just to have more time to do clubs or recruiting stuff.
Other activities.
Yeah. Very important. You need to create time for recruiting as well.
Yeah.
We got a good question here. What characteristics is the program looking for in an ideal candidate? We got 3 here, so and you see how different they are. So we're bringing in a very diverse class of people with different goals and different backgrounds, but I think the common denominator is our mission. So we're looking for people that really clearly embrace our mission, that really want to make an impact, not only when they're with us, but in their future career. And I think that the other thing that I would say is we're looking for people that really know why they want to do the MAM. Like, this is both ways. I think that in the admission process, the candidates think that they're trying to impress us, but it goes both ways. I also want to make sure that what we can provide you is what you're looking for, right? That this makes sense for you. Because if I don't see in the application what the added value of the MAM is going to be, if your goals, you can achieve your goals with your MBA, I honestly, I'm going to have a serious conversation with the team whether you should come or not. Because why would you invest all your time, resources, and to come here if what you want to achieve, you can do it with your amazing MBA from a top school in the world? So I think that's also something that we're very much looking for. What is the MAM going to add to bring you to wherever you want to be after that? Anything you want to add in what, an amazing candidate would look like other than yourselves?
I can start. I found a common thread among our class is everyone is intrinsically motivated because of the way the program is set up. Everyone kind of has their own schedule. So you need to really have that clear purpose in mind as to why you're here. And so I think that's really what I've noticed across our class, and I think that's important for people who are interested to really kind of think about whether it's the program for them.
Perfect. Anything else?
Yeah, I think not perfect, but yeah, for the candidates, it's very important to have a real international perspective. Like our program, our cohort is very diverse. If I didn't remember wrong, like how many?
Over 20.
Over 20, right? And
nationalities.
we speak
41
like
people, I think.
how many languages? Like
Yeah.
so many. Yeah.
So many.
It's like you really have to develop an international perspective that you can think things from different perspectives, not only from probably your original one, but also other sides about all the issues. And we also interact a lot to discuss all the topics in our core course.
Yeah. Intellectual curiosity, I think, is really important for this program.
Agreed.
And also adaptability.
Yeah.
Agreed. So we got a question here whether the program can be done online. The answer is no. This is an in-person program. I'm going to turn it over to you very quickly, but I just want to say honestly, what happens in the classroom is just like, honestly, 20% of your experience here. Like what happens outside of the classroom is a real deal here.
Yeah.
And I want to say, please, if you come to the MAM, and I hope you're doing this, if not, you still have a little bit of time, don't confine yourself to just Evans Hall, which is our building. This is the School of Management building. The university has so many resources, so many amazing places that you have to go to our libraries and study there. You have to go to our theater, and you have to go to the Yale Art Gallery. There's so much, and this is the university for you to explore. This is yours for this year, so you gotta make the most out of it. Do you guys think your experience at the MAM would have been the same if the program were online?
No,
No.
totally not.
I even had a friend from the program was signed up in the fall for a class that I think was partially online or fully online. I remember being like, dude, why are you wasting your time here? We're only here for 9 months to take a class online. Like, you want to be in the classroom and have that experience? And he was like, yeah, you're right. So he ended up dropping it and taking something in person. Because it's such a great part of the whole program and the experience here is being in the classroom and learning from your classmates, not just your professors. So yeah, I would highly advise taking anything online.
Yeah, and even just interacting with the broader Yale community,
Yeah.
right? I don't know how that would work online as well. Yeah.
Yeah, and there are a lot of activities you can only take it in person. Like, there's a class I really like, the Entrepreneurship in Art Market from last semester. And Professor Magnus holds some activities like a talk with CEO of Christie's in Yale Art School, and also a trip to New York to visit all the galleries. It's not possible to experience that online.
No,
Yeah.
absolutely not. Speaking of faculty, we have very good senior experienced faculty, well-known faculty. Are they approachable, or they come to class, give you a lecture, and you don't see them again and you don't talk to them? Or do they actually care and engage in conversation with the students? Can you find them if you need them? How does that work with the faculty? Anyone?
I can take that. I was in an amazing class called Ethical Choices in Public Leadership with Professor Eric Braverman. It was a class that's between SOM and the Jackson School. You had to apply and state your reasons as to why you wanted to take it. And I'm so glad that I was accepted because it was truly the best class I've ever taken at any school. And he was such an amazing professor and took the time to really get to know us as people and not only our goals as professionals, but as people as well. And he arranged for a night, like a pizza night for us. We went a night at Maury's. And he really took the time to get to know us, so much so that I even reached out to him over our winter break and kind of picked his brain about some career issues I was thinking through. And he really pushed me to look at the problem in such a different way that I never would have thought of had I not had that conversation. So I found my experience with him is emblematic of the whole Yale faculty. They're all kind of like that, where you can just approach them for a few minutes of their time and really get to pick their brain and get their advice.
Cool.
Yeah. Also, just I know I speak a lot about the STEM workload and stuff, but and I also reference management of software development. Why I reference it a lot is I was new to coding, but the way Kyle Jensen sort of presented it, he made it super easy to learn, and he made it super memorable in such a way that you could recall everything. And also, at the beginning of every class, depending on what topic we were taking, he had stickers for us. So that was sort of motivation to get excited about the class. And you could also reach out to him outside of the class and just pick his brain. And he would also explain concepts to you. He made it super easy, super enjoyable. And I would always recommend that class, especially if you have STEM credits to fill up. Then there was also Robert Jensen that took...
The core class.
One of our core classes. And the core class is focused on SDGs, and I'm very interested in financial inclusion. And I like the way he broke down the different elements of it, and including perspectives from other regions. And he was very open to getting everyone's point of view in that class. And even post the class, I did send him an email to tell him how much I really enjoyed that class and his perspective, and how he might have inspired me to start thinking of a PhD.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So we thought this was the end of your academic journey, and you're going to
Keeping it
continue,
going.
Tolu? You're going to keep going.
We'll find out.
Wow. Okay. So we still have 15 minutes left. So we might take some additional questions, but I don't want to run out of time because I do want that piece of advice that you would give candidates? People that might be thinking of applying to the MAM, what would you like to have known when you were in their shoes that you didn't know, that you know now? So what piece of advice would you give them, those thinking about potentially applying to the MAM? Any of you, because the three of you are going to give an advice, so think about it, and then whoever is ready.
About applying.
Applying, considering the program, anything related, like what would you like to have known that you didn't know that would have helped you decide about the MAM, applying to the MAM, or once you've been admitted to the MAM, like how to navigate the journey that you have immersed yourself into?
I think I have 3.
Okay, 3 advices.
The first one, please apply in round 2. Don't wait till round 3. It's going to be a mess trying to get an apartment, trying to pack up your life. The timeline is very short. The second one is if you are interested in recruiting, I think it's very important for you to start now. The work needs to be done now. You need to start reaching out, especially if you're interested in consulting recruiting. Because by the time you come in, those deadlines will eat you like as you are in orientation, and you might get flustered and overwhelmed. Wow, I can't remember the third one. Maybe we'll circle back, but third one. Yeah.
Let's go to them and then maybe you come back.
Yeah, sure. So for me, I don't think I would improve anything. I'm satisfied in general. So advice-wise, I think the most important thing is just be yourself and be authentic. Like probably you are so nervous and you want to pretend something or just create another version of yourself, but I don't think that's really necessary. Just be authentic and yourself. Like I still remember when I did the interview with Camilo, I was in Mendoza, Argentina, and the air conditioner was broken, and I sweat a lot, like more than 30 degrees in the hotel. And then Camilo asked me a question like, is there anything that you stick to in your whole life? How would you describe your life, the trajectory from the thing specifically? How can you describe your life? From that question, I can feel that I really need to figure out who I am and who I'm looking for. The world is so uncertain right now. What you are looking for here, that's the most important advice in general for the admission. Yeah.
Thank you, Monica.
Yeah.
Yeah, this question makes me think of, once again, advice I got from Professor Braverman, which was, if you were to ask your colleagues or your friends to describe you as a person, like what would you want them to say? And then think about how this program could get you to that point. So having that clear path forward for you is really important, I think, when you're considering applying or if you're applying. And something I wish I had known when I, was applying, I would say is just knowing how many options are available to you can be daunting. So just learning to just say no and make some time for yourself or for recruiting or for whatever, and not get caught up in the social side of things or the classes or speaker events or whatever. Just knowing okay, there's a great speaker tonight, but there'll be another great one next week. You can go to that instead. So I think that's something I wish I knew earlier.
So my third advice is maybe don't overthink your application too much. Some of us self-reject before we and don't give ourselves the opportunity to be told no. I almost self-rejected, and if I hadn't done my application, I wouldn't be here today. So please don't do that to yourself.
Thank you. Let's go back to the question. So please, if you have questions, put in the Q&A. We want to answer as many of your questions live as we can. But if you have further questions and we don't get to them, please feel free to write to us, advancedmanagement@yale.edu. Elena, who's helping me behind the scenes, if you can put our email address on the chat, feel free. Some people might have personal questions, don't want to be answered live. Right. We understand, write to us. And we usually are pretty good. I mean, this time of the year is busy for us, but we try to respond to everybody within 24 or 48 hours. So we got a question about your interactions with the Yale MBAs. So you're all MBAs, you come here, you start taking classes. How is that integration with the MBAs? Are you fully blended with our second-year MBAs? I know you recruit with them, second-year MBAs as well, take classes with them. How are the interactions, is the question, with the Yale MBAs?
I think we're pretty much well integrated in second year of MBA because we're in the same phase of having a lot of choices to have the classes. And we can ask a lot of advices from second year of MBA. Yeah, I think there's no problem of integration.
Yeah. And also to add to that, I don't, there isn't a difference per se within the MBAs and the MAM because we take the same classes, we have the same experiences. So until we're having a conversation and they're like, what program are you in? That's when it comes up. But the experience is largely more or less the same. In fall semester, you take classes with second year MBA students and other degree programs as well. Then in second year, you're in classes, in spring semester, you're in classes with 1 year MBA students, second year MBA students, and other degree programs, just depending on class configuration. So there isn't a strict dichotomy.
Yeah, I would agree. I think it's been a quite seamless process. There are classes you're taking with second year MBAs, and often they'll have their own social circles already carved out, but being just naturally intellectually curious people as well, I found the MBAs are often very curious as to know about like our own paths and our own like international experiences, and I've been able to become close friends with a lot of people from the MBA program. In fact, I'm going curling with some next week, which I'm really excited about because I've never done.
Okay. We do have a question, I will take this one, about the GMAT. So yes, it is a requirement. You have to submit a GMAT or a GRE score. It doesn't matter how long you've been working. All our degree programs at SOM, not just this one, every degree program requires the GMAT or GRE. We don't have a preference for one test over the other, the one that works better for you. We do not accept the executive assessment. We got that question all the time. GMAT has an executive assessment test as well. It has to be the GMAT or the GRE. The next question that is going to pop up is what is the minimum and what is the average? And we don't have a minimum or average. We follow the holistic approach in our admission process, and again, we don't have a minimum or we don't have an average. We basically put everything into context. So if you have great GPA during your undergrad, maybe a lower score is okay. If your GPA is not so great, maybe a good score can compensate for that. Also your work experience, your life experience, your motivation for the program, your alignment with our mission. So it's not just as simple as you need to get to this score. It's much more complex than that, and but we do require the score. Okay. We still have a few minutes, but I do want to remind everybody about our deadlines because Tulu was saying apply by round 2. So if you want to apply by round 2, our next deadline is February 19th. So there's still time to put together an application, but February 19th is the second round deadline for our program. And then the third round would be April 9th. We will have plenty of spots at each of the rounds and plenty of budget for scholarship at each of the rounds. It is true that if you apply by round 3, then you have a very tight kind of turnaround to close your life wherever you are and then move to New Haven. But yeah, we do have those 2 rounds. Also, I want to mention that in rounds 2 and 3, we accept applications from Global Network schools as well as non-Global Network schools. Right here, we have 3 students that happen to come from Global Network schools, but I'm sure you have many of your classmates that come from schools that are not part of the Global Network for Advanced Management. And I want to rest everybody assured that we don't give preference to GNAM applications over non-GNAM in rounds 2 and 3. We just take the best students for the program, regardless of what the school they come from. GNAM applicants get the round 1 kind of early action, if you want to call it that way, but rounds 2 and 3, we just accept applications from amazing MBA candidates from around the world. There are many amazing schools, not only GNAM schools there. Okay. Any final thing, something that I haven't asked you that you wish I would have asked you that you want to share with potential candidates?
I can share something. So I would say, once you put the thought into whether this program is for you, whether you have the capacity to take it, and you decide to move forward and apply, yes, it's a lot of work, but just the application itself alone. But finding out that day that I was accepted truly was one of the greatest days of my life. It's something that I'll remember forever.
You said you were gonna share.
I
how
was.
it
I'm happy to go into more detail. So I was in Paris at the time, and I was in class all day, constantly refreshing my email. And then I even went out to dinner that night with some friends to kind of get my mind off of it, because obviously being in Paris, I was 6 hours ahead. So it was just a very nerve-wracking day. And then I get home from dinner, and it's like 11 or so, and I thought, okay, let me just check one last time before bed, and then I'll see you in the morning. And then I went into the application portal, saw that there was like an application update. I quickly tapped on the mouse and pulled my hand away because I was so nervous. And then it's sort of flashing on the screen, congratulations, you're accepted. I think I read over it like 10 times just to make sure that it was right. And then I called all like my family and friends. There were tears shed, so it really was an amazing day. So keep that in mind when you're applying, that through all the hard work of getting your references and your applications, that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. And I would also say, once you're accepted, yes, the Yale network is incredibly powerful and a huge tool for when you're like looking for a job, but it makes me think of the JFK saying, which is ask not what your network can do for you, ask what you can do for your network. So like think about what you can bring to the table and how you can help other future students, because eventually you'll be in our shoes and people will be reaching out to you about advice and whatnot, and make sure you take the time to meet with them and speak with them, because people did it before you and people will do it after you as well.
That's great. Yeah.
And I think for me also an important thing I've learned is there's a lot of work that the alumni did to get us where we are in terms of providing support to students. And also, I would say if you do come here, please make sure you pay forward as well, and make sure you do it for the next set of people. Yeah. And when people reach out to you, please be nice to them and answer them.
Yeah.
Yeah, what Ryan said just remind me of the moment as well. It's like the saying that you don't live for years, for months, or for days, but just for some moments. Yeah. That's one of those moments. Yeah. Just put your effort there. You don't know the result you will get accepted or no, probably, but just make your efforts and you will find it's very worthy. Yeah.
Give me goosebumps. Like the decisions that we make like really means so much to people's lives. Oh. Wow.
It does.
A lot of pressure.
It really does.
For mine, I was also 6 hours ahead, and I tried to distract myself all day. And when it was, I think 10 or 11 my time as well.
Yeah.
When it was time to make
5 p.m. our time. That's
okay,
when we release.
So it was probably 11 p.m. my time. I had to get my mom and my sister. I made sure they didn't sleep, and I had to get them to stand beside me. And I was like, I'm going to click on it, but you're going to look. I'm not going to...
Oh, they told you whether the decision was. Yeah. That's too funny.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we hope to impact your lives as well. So, but that's not gonna happen if you don't apply, if you don't put yourself out there. And this is a transformative experience. Like, what else can I say? Like, you have to live it. People know what an MBA is. People don't know what an MAM is. Hopefully today, we've given them a good idea of what it is and how it's impacting your lives and how it will help you in the future and many others. So thank you so much. We are basically on time. I just want to thank our guests today. We're very, very happy to have you on board. I know you're busy. So thank you for your time and for giving back already.
Of course.
Thank you for everybody who is watching. If you couldn't connect live, this is also going to be one of our podcasts. So subscribe to our podcasts. We do have a lot of information. It's called MAM Admissions Unplugged. So please subscribe to the podcast. We have many episodes. This is going to be one of them. And I hope everybody has a great weekend ahead. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.